welcome back to another beauty chat with SJ. I hope you're all doing well and I hope you're ready for a long chatty session because that's exactly what this video is going to be all about. We're going to be talking about so many different things, so make sure you grab some snacks, some drinks or whatever it is that your heart desires because you're going to be here for a while with me, or at least I hope so. But the topic that we're going to be discussing today is going to be greenwashing, conscious beauty, clean beauty and all of those, because I feel like these terms are going out of hand right now and people are using these left, right and center without even knowing full meaning of it. And as consumers, I feel we need to be aware of these things. I'm not saying that the products I'm going to be talking about are bad products per se, but what they're being marketed as is probably not what they truly are. So yes, we're going to be breaking all of these things down today. So without any further ado, if you want to have an open conversation, and please feel free to pitch in your 2 cents down in the comment section. This is an open conversation. Of course, you can point out any critique that you have of what I'm saying, or you can add to the conversation as well. I am looking forward to your comments. So without any further ado, if you want to have a beauty chat with me, then please keep on watching. Let's start with my favorite topic of them all, greenwashing. But before I move on to my opinions on what's happening in the industry right now, let me break down what greenwashing truly is. Now, greenwashing is nothing but when a company tries to sell their products in a way that it looks much more environmentally friendly than it actually is. So they'll use terms which are pretty vague and which would make you feel better about the purchase. So terms like sustainable, plastic neutral and things like these, which would make you feel less guilty about purchasing them because you would think they're not having an impact on the environment. But I'm so sad that I have to break it to you guys that more often than not, this is not the case whatsoever. These are just labels slapped on a product which might not actually have anything to do with the product whatsoever as well. Now, if you're confused about this, let me put it this way. A lot of companies these days are claiming to be plastic neutral because they're recycling more plastic than they use, which in theory sounds great, sounds like something you would want your product to do. But have you stopped to think, what about the plastic that they're using in their own packaging? You could be recycling plastic that is in the market right now or in landfills right now, but if I'm buying a product that has more plastic in it, I am going to be throwing that into landfill as well, and I don't know if that plastic is going to be recyclable or not. Of course, there are going to be some companies, a very micro small amount of companies who are also using plastic packaging that is recyclable and are plastic neutral and are working about recycling others' plastics. But most of them, if not all of them, are companies that are recycling someone else's waste but also creating more waste. So even though you would feel good about buying something that's plastic neutral, you are still generating waste, which I know sounds really harsh, but that's the truth. I want us all to be aware. Again, it's not bad, it's not wrong, it's just that we need to be aware of our shopping patterns, of what we are consuming and everything, so we can make more conscious decisions about purchasing something. And don't even get me started with the fact that every brand under the sun these days is sustainable, and I don't even know how, because sustainability is such a big topic. I don't know why brands are just slapping that term on their products without even explaining how they are sustainable. If nothing else, transportation of all of these products will lead to a lot of emissions and whatnot. So I do not understand how truly sustainable these are. And then of course we have a lot of companies which just claim to plant trees and making sure that world is a better place than we are going to be, like from what we inherited. But again, there is nothing to substantiate those claims, and those are what they are at the end of the day, just claims. So whenever you are buying something, just make sure you read a little bit more about the company, what they stand for, how well they've been working, and the packaging that they're using, because packaging makes a really big difference. A lot of mixed materials, like if you're buying a compact, it has plastic, it has mirror in there, it's a mixed material, so it can't really be recycled because it's a mixed material. So if you can find something that only has plastic and no mirror, or maybe like a cardboard packaging, for example, I can remember like Juicy Chemistry, their color chemistry subsidiary has just cardboard packaging, so that's going to be recyclable. But if it's a compact with a mirror, that's not going to be recyclable. These are going to be tiny little steps that you can take to ensure, we leave the world a much better place than what we have gotten from our ancestors. But there's a small little giving up stuff as well, right? We are so used to having a mirror in the compact because it's just much more convenient. If we give up a little bit of that convenience up, a little bit of that convenience up, we can be a little bit more sustainable as the brands claim to be. But yeah, whenever companies trying to make their products look much better, it's generally because they want the product to do better in market, they want it to sell better, and not because they genuinely care about the environment, sadly. I wish it wasn't that way, but it truly is. That's how market and businesses work. Again, I'm not saying what these brands are doing is completely wrong. It's just business. At the end of the day, they're here to make profits, we're here to buy stuff and do makeup and skincare and all of that. But it's just that if we know what we are buying, if we know how we can make the best of it, then there's nothing like that. Honestly, I feel like we as consumers need to put pressure on companies that claim to be more sustainable, plastic positive, and all of those words to have their own recycling programs. We have such a huge shortage of recycling programs in India. It's honestly a little sad. A couple of brands that I know only do recycling. I think L'Occitane has something like that, wherein they take almost everything. They have a couple of things that they don't take. I think they don't take lipsticks and toothpaste and all of those things. They have a full list on their website, so you can check that out. But they take any brand under the sun, which is a great thing. So I feel like brands who claim to be more environmentally conscious should take at least their products back. Something like what Back to MAC is, wherein you can give 6 MAC empties to MAC, and earlier they used to give you 1 free lipstick. Now they just recycle your products for you, which I still think is nice. Earlier it just had an incentive. Now you just know that your products are getting properly recycled, which is still a really great incentive. So I feel like brands should have a recycling program in place. Otherwise, I don't think they can claim to be environmentally conscious, because it just doesn't go hand in hand. You can of course take an XYZ amount of money or shipping charges or whatever, and I feel like people who truly care for the environment would be okay in that. And it's just the bare minimum I think we're asking for right here. We're now going to dive a little deeper into greenwashing, and I will be giving you guys certain tools to make sure you are not greenwashed into buying something and you're buying it because you want to buy the product. Now, more often than not, companies use certain color palettes and schemes to make you feel like they're much more eco-friendly than they actually are, and one of those color families has to be obviously the color green. Whenever we think of the color green, we think of lush green grasses, beautiful forests, mother nature, and companies obviously know that. Subconsciously, somewhere our brain just attaches that color to mother nature. So whenever we're looking at a product that's green in color, we think it's going to be much more eco-friendly, and obviously the people who are developing the product know that a little too well. The other color family a lot of these eco-friendly brands use is the color beige, or much more neutral and minimalist color, because what they're trying to say is that look at us, we're not using too many resources, we're minimal, we're just very small and niche and eco-friendly and all of that. We're not taking too much, we're being very conscious of our packaging as well. But that sometimes is not the case at all. It's just a way to make you believe and feel like, oh, I am not buying something that has a lot of impact on the environment. So again, whenever you look at these colors, take it with a pinch of salt, with a pinch of a little bit of greeniness, because you can analyze it in your brain that maybe this is just how they want me to perceive the brand and how it's not actually is truly. So think about all of that whenever you're looking at a product. Next up, the second thing that a lot of companies do is using words that you probably cannot break down and maybe not even think about. For example, writing the words biodegradable or recyclable on a packaging without actually telling you what it is. Now, whenever we think of something as being biodegradable, we think, oh, maybe we can compost it in our own backyards and it would just dissolve into the mud, but that's not the case. Let me give you an example that's non-beauty, but it would make things easier for you. You know how Starbucks has these straws and they have this whole thing slapped on it, how it's biodegradable and all of that, but they rarely tell you that it's biodegradable under certain conditions. You can't just put those straws in your backyard and expect roses to bloom out of it. You need certain temperatures, you need certain materials, incineration and whatnot for it to be biodegradable as well. So whenever you're buying something and it says recyclable, subconsciously you're going to think, oh my god, I can recycle it. But maybe you can't recycle it because you don't have the conditions, the prerequisites for recycling available at your disposal. So again, it's just making you believe, making you feel that you're buying something that's better for the environment, but you don't know if you can actually recycle it or not as well. Next up, let's talk about clean and conscious beauty, because these terms are so abused that it's not even funny anymore. Honestly, all of the shopping e-commerces now have a different section for it. There's conscious at Nykaa, clean at Sephora, and I'm sure Tira would have something similar to that as well. And when I looked at these pages, I genuinely just wanted to laugh because of how funny it was. Like, it wasn't funny in seriousness, but it was just funny. The brands that are listed under under there was just like, really, these are brands that you're promoting as clean and conscious? Now their definition of clean and conscious is probably not what clean and conscious actually means. Otherwise, the brands that they are having under there don't really pass the bill, at least in my eyes, in my opinions. For example, they had Lotus in clean beauty for some reason. Like, I do not understand how Lotus can be a clean beauty brand when they literally have some chemicals in there, which even I have to, side eye a little bit, and I am all for chemicals. Now, clean beauty generally is considered to be something which doesn't have chemicals in it or toxic chemicals in it, which I don't. Let's just not even get started on that, because it's gonna be like we're gonna be here for a century and a half, because I am so done with people trying to berate chemicals, trying to make it look like chemicals are the bad guy over here, while in all honesty, you need preservatives, you need chemicals in your life. Everything is a chemical. We are a chemical. Water is a chemical. So chemical free is not really possible, at least on Earth. If it's on Mars, I don't know, but at least on Earth it's not possible at all. And then when there's things like preservative free, it just makes me roll my eyes to the back of my skull, because we need preservatives. Let me break this down for you in a way which is going to be understandable for all of us. We all use preservatives on a daily basis, even if you're not doing skincare, hair care or makeup. You want to ask me how? I'll tell you how. Do you eat achar? I'm hoping if you're Indian, I'm hoping that you would be eating achar as well. Now, achar uses oil and salt as a natural preservative, and that's why achars are good for years and years and years, and that's why we keep it submerged under oil, because oils are a natural preservative. Just like that, we have preservatives for skincare to keep it good for a while, so there is no bacterial growth. If you were to take anything that's been put in achar and keep it out just like that, it will have bacterial growth, it will have fungi growth, it will go bad, it will rot. And that's the same ideology for your skincare as well. If you don't have preservatives in your skincare, guess what will happen? It'll go bad, it'll mold, it'll just have bacterial growth in there. And do you want to put that on your face? I'm going to leave that judgment to you. So do not be afraid of preservatives. Of course, there are going to be some preservatives which are not the best for you, but there are going to be some preservatives which are extremely safe, have been studied so well, and there are chemical formulators out there that are literally working on this day in, day out to create products, to create formulations that are suitable for your skin type. So don't be afraid of preservatives. We use preservatives on a daily basis for everything that we are doing. So we need to take a chill pill on brands and products that are shouting from the rooftop that we are preservative free, because that's not something to flex. That is honestly not something to flex. That's actually a red flag, because we need preservatives in our life. If you don't want to use chemical preservatives, use natural preservatives, use things that are much more easier to biodegrade or whatever. But it's honestly hilarious how brands feel like that can be their whole pitch, and there are still people who fall for that. And if honestly you're going to be buying preservative free skincare, you can whip that up in your own kitchen. I don't think you need someone to sell you besan and haldi pack. You don't need that, like a besan haldi mixture with water, yogurt or milk. I don't think you need anyone to be selling that to you. We were born with that kind of skill, because ever since we were born, in at least an Indian household, this is a pack that we've seen our dadis use, our nannies use, our moms use. So that's not something you need in your life. So please don't be afraid of preservatives. Please don't look at them in a negative light. They're literally there to save your skin, your skincare, your makeup and everything. Now, another way in which I feel like brands are genuinely making a fool out of us is by having a separate range. A lot of makeup brands are doing this, where they would have their normal range and then they would have a clean range with better ingredients, no toxins, naturally derived products, and they more often than not have a markup, their price much higher than their normal products. And I feel like if you want to be a clean brand, a better ingredient brand, then just be that. Why do you need a separate range for that? Like, I get it, the price difference is there and all of that, but then again, if you truly want to be a brand that's standing for its ingredients and its formulation, then just be that. A lot of brands are doing that, like Pacifica is doing that, and there are so many other brands which are genuinely just focused on a few quality ingredients. So I don't understand that. That feels much more to do with profits than to do with cleaner beauty and formulations to me. And a lot of times these clean products are not really even clean, whatever that terms even means. I feel like the idea of clean beauty is so vague, it is so huge, and in my personal opinion there is nothing called as clean beauty. Like, what do you even mean by clean beauty? I genuinely don't understand. The only way you can have clean makeup is when you're rubbing strawberry or raspberries on your lips to get some tint, or beetroot on your cheeks to get some blush, and something of that sort. Like, how do you define clean beauty? Because you would have some or the other chemical, there goes my favorite word, chemical, even in clean beauty, right? Even if it's 98% naturally derived, the 2% that there would be something that's chemically. So I don't know what they mean by clean beauty. I'm so done with that word as well. It's so overused and not for good reasons. So whenever you see these parallel lines, just question, like, do they really care about the ingredients that are going on my face, or do they only care about the money that's going into their pockets? Now, the last thing that irks me so much when it comes to this natural and clean movement we're having right now is the fact that brands tend to focus on certain ingredients so much, and that ingredient isn't even the star ingredient when it comes to the formulation. Now, of course, with things like retinol and AHAs, I get it, it's more percentage based, and that's why I love companies that mention percentages on their packaging in the front itself, so that I know what I'm picking up. It's an informed decision. If I'm picking up something that has 7% AHA, I know I'm paying for 7% AHA, and I don't think that, okay, it's going to be 90% AHA, because that's not how things work. But a lot of these natural companies would say olive squalane, great for the skin, and then the ingredient list would have hyaluronic acid, glycerin, fragrance, 10,000 other ingredients, and then olive squalane, and that's ridiculous. That is not how product should be. That's not what you're paying for. You should always read the ingredient list, and I know a lot of you have started reading ingredient lists, but there's so many other people who are still not doing that. Another pioneer in this honestly has to be Mama Earth. The amount of focus they place on ingredients that are not even in their formulation is insane, and I know me and Mama Earth just don't see eye to eye. But if you genuinely look at their ingredients list, some of them are really questionable, and you should be questioning them. You should be questioning all brands, not just Mama Earth. You should be questioning all brands who are doing practices like these, who are making you believe a product is more eco-friendly or a product is much more natural than what it actually is, because that's what I feel being an aware consumer is. Now, if I had to sum up this video in a couple of lines, I would say the whole idea of greenwashing, conscious beauty, clean beauty is getting a little out of hand. So I would urge you to do your own research before you buy something, so that you are making an informed decision and you know what you want to pay for. Now, I know it can be a little time consuming and tedious, so if you want me to create a list of brands or products that are better than the rest when it comes to their own ecological footprint as well as the ingredients that they use, then please let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to do it for you guys, because I am all passionate about this as well. Like, I love to talk about products that are genuinely good, packaging that is genuinely good, brands that are genuinely good. So let me know about that in the comment section. But that is everything I have for you guys in this video. I really hope we take this conversation forward, and also let me know what other beauty chats you want to have with me, because I would love to have more chats with you. But that's going to be everything that I have for you guys in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this and found this helpful. If you did, then don't forget to comment and subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, take care. I love you all so much. Mwah. Bye.